This video will help you establish an ASHI training center. This assumes you have completed an instructor development course, an IDC, with an instructor trainer from ASHI. Now, if you did that course with me, Trudy Behrman, then you are watching this video and you have everything that you need to set up your training center, especially after you've gone through all the steps on this video. Now, at this point in time, just to be sure, in case you didn't do that course with me, you would have had an online blended course which walks you through the theory of being an ASHI instructor, and then you would have had some hands-on FaceTime with your instructor trainer. That being completed, if your instructor has checked you off and has checked you off in the blended program and said you are done, and now you're going to establish your own training center. You're not going to be an instructor under someone else's training center. This is for you if you're establishing your own training center. But what tends to happen is once you're qualified as an instructor, the question is, are you going to be an instructor under the training center of the person who trained you, or are you going to set up your own training center? If you did your course with me, Trudy Behrman, I do allow a short window of time for you to be under my training center, because for some people it does take a few dollars to get yourself ready to qualify to set up your own training center with ASHI, because at the very minimum you do need to purchase at least one piece of curriculum from them to be an instructor. So for some people who maybe need a little bit of time to get their financial resources in order, for me, under my training center, I do allow a short window of time for you to be an instructor under my training center, and then you can step off and go to another training center. At this point in time, this is for those who are ready to set up their training center. So when you come to hsi.com, the next step would be to go to brands. Now, this is about ASHI, so we're going to click this button. It's going to take you to this next page, and then what we want to do is become an instructor first, because you cannot have a training center without an instructor. And there, what would happen is once you are an instructor, then you become the director of your own training center. Now, if you're going straight from the IDC program to setting up your training center, this can be a pretty seamless step, unless, of course, you're an instructor under one training center, and then at some later point in time, you're going to establish your own training center. So let's just assume, for the sake of this video, it's going to be a seamless experience. You're done with your IDC, and now you're going straight to setting up your training center. So, but we do have to do this step of clicking Become an Instructor. Now, when you do this, you click Get Started, and here is the next thing. Now, if you have not yet done the IDC, you would need to go through the IDC, the Instructor Development course. If you were an instructor with another organization and you're just simply switching gears, you're going to set up another training center somewhere, this might be the way to go. And ASHI does grandfather in some other qualifications. This might be the way that you're going to go. But for those of you who have done the instructor development course and you're interested in establishing your new training center, this would be the button that you click. And here we go again. We're doing ASHI, not Medic First Aid in this particular case. So we're going to click here. And now, what happens next is you take it from here, because I can't fill the email in. I'm already established. Once you put your email in here and click Next, you will get communication from ASHI to take you on to all the steps to establishing your training center. Now, just to show you what the instructor application looks like, if you click this, this is going to be a paper app, which you could fill out and send into ASHI otherwise. But the letter that you got from completing the online blended course and meeting with your instructor, especially if that was me, will have all the information that ASHI would need. So all this stuff here may look very unfamiliar to you, but it doesn't matter, because if you had the letter, then you wouldn't need it. So you would simply fill in your email, hit Next. You will get communication from ASHI to help you complete your form. And if you have any questions, you can simply call them, because with your letter, you you will have what you need to communicate with ASHI and say you want to establish your training center. You should not need your instructor trainer if you have your letter. Now, let me see if I can show you what that letter would look like. It would look something like this, okay? This is the completion of the instructor program, and see, it will have all the numbers here, all the information that you could possibly need to complete your training center information is there. And because you're setting up your own training center, you have the right to speak directly with ASHI. You do not need me. Be prepared, though, that as a minimum requirement for setting up your your training center is you have to be prepared to purchase curriculum from ASHI. I'm going to recommend that you purchase the CPR course. Once you purchase the CPR course with them, so you fill up this form, follow whatever instructions they send you by email. If you have any questions, dial this number and speak to them directly. They will help you, no problem. Once you've purchased the curriculum, say you purchase just the one, you will now have your own training center portal, which will look like this. When you have your own training center portal, you will be able to go in and purchase additional material, additional curriculum that you want to purchase from ASHI. So for right now, in establishing your training center, all you need to worry about is putting in your email, waiting for the correspondence that follows, and if there's any challenges with that, you call this number and have your letter ready to go so that you have what you need to have, or I already put the letter away, you have the information that you need to establish your training center. Thank you.